I am so excited for you to be here today. I have another great author interview for you. And I have to tell you, today's author has to be one of my favorites, and it is because of the cover of this book. This has to be one of the most unique book covers I have seen, and I have interviewed hundreds of people who've written books. And so today we are going to hear from Jeff Burton, who is the author of Relish the Moment. Jeff, welcome. Thank you for being here today.
Hi, Laura. Nice to see you again, and thank you for
Yes.
having me on. I have to say, you're setting a very high bar, so hopefully the
Oh,
interview will match your kind words. But thank you. It's great to be here.
oh, I'm so glad you're here. Jeff, tell us very quickly, before we roll into anything else, what is this book about?
Yeah, this book is something I'm very passionate about that might come out here in the interview. So, years ago, I had a dream to see a baseball game in every major league stadium. And I grew up as really obsessed with baseball and just had a passion for it. And obviously, as part of this journey, I had to get a hot dog at each of the stadiums as well. And so after a while, I kind of had some wild travel stories and some wild experiences, a lot of fun, and just some really cool things happened during this journey. And at some point, I determined I should write a book. I think that was a bucket list item for me, and so I explored that. And just in May of 2026, we published Relish the Moment. It's been an incredible experience, and I'm
Oh,
honored to be able to share that with you and your audience today.
I want to tell you what I love about this book, Jeff, is that I'm not a huge baseball fan, but it was a page turner for me. I loved reading all of the stories about all of the baseball fields that you went to and the different hot dogs that you ate. I know you tried a hot dog everywhere you went, and it's very captivating because it just talks about your personal journey and it brought you back to your childhood, right? And I think
Yeah,
that all of us want to be able to recapture some of the good moments of our childhood. Those legacy books can be so inviting for other people, sorry, for inviting for other people to come on in and join you in those journeys. And so I just loved it. I had a great time reading it. It was just a lot of fun. But
well,
I
thank
want
you.
to
And
go ahead, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say it's a quick read. The
Hmm.
chapters are very
Yeah.
short. It's I just kind of share the experiences and stories. And I will point out that I don't think, as you've indicated, I don't think you have to be a baseball fan to like this book. This book
No.
really is more about the journey. The subtitle is One Fan's Quest to Visit Every Stadium, Chase the Perfect Hot Dog, and
Mhm.
Rediscover the Wonder of Being a Kid.
Yeah.
And it's probably the latter part there, right?
Hmm.
Of
Yeah.
discovering the wonder of being a kid again, I think is really central to the book.
And you really did a wonderful job of just capturing that. And I know for me, like I started remembering certain, I think that we all remember certain events that we had as children. And I was like, oh, I would love to go back to that. So I really enjoyed the book a lot. I
Thank you.
want to know, and I know our audience wants to know this too. What was your writing process like? Like, did you sit down at the computer and just knock this out in a few hours? Because it is an easy read. It's a smaller, shorter book, but so it's just so packed full of so many gems. But did you go to a coffee shop and write this out? And how did you go about doing this?
Yeah, really good question. And it is a shorter book, but I'll tell you, it took me years to write.
Mm.
um, Again, I set on this quest long ago. I think when I started the quest, I never thought I was going to write a book. Um, and somewhere along the way, I determined, no, I need to put pen to paper. And I did that quite literally. Toward the end, I was, put it all on the computer. But I have to show you this. I've got this little notebook here, really high-tech stuff. I've got
Oh
Relish the Moment
boy.
there written on the cover. And for me,
Literally pen to paper, huh?
pen to paper. So for me, when I travel a lot for work,
Mhm.
and I found that the creativity came to me in the clouds. So anytime I got on an airplane, I would try to just write and get these stories out. And so
Oh,
that's what I did in the beginning. And I will tell you the part of the process, man, I'm sure your audience can relate to this, but um, I didn't have an idea of what the story arc was going to be or how it was all going to be
no.
come to be. For me at the beginning, I was just writing about hot dogs and writing about, my quest to see a game in every stadium. And probably about 2 years ago is when it kind of all started meshing together and how I really wanted to make this more of a personal journey than more, I mean, we call it part love letter to baseball and part memoir, and that's I think the end result became that. But in the beginning, again, it was just getting those stories out.
Oh. And then did you edit this book yourself or did you have someone edit it for you? What was that like?
Yes. So I hired an editor, a good friend, Joe Post, here at my place of employment. And Joe is an excellent editor in terms of grammar and punctuation and right
Mhm.
all the mechanics, but he was an even better editor in terms of the feedback. He, self-admitted, was not a baseball fan. He said he would be honored to edit this and to do that. And I will tell you, when you're a creator and you give someone your baby, your creation, it's very vulnerable. And I remember he gave me some very good and direct feedback, and that's the feedback that I needed. So even though it was a little like I was nervous to get it, I was so grateful. And at some point during the process, I just said, Joe, you've heard this the adage, right? Clarity is kind. And so I
Yeah,
just said,
yeah.
I want this to be the best book possible. So I really need your feedback. And he gave it to me and I took it. And thanks to him, I
No.
think we have a good uh,
You
final
still have a
product.
friendship after
And we
that.
do. And we
You
do.
know,
And I'm grateful for him.
I tell everybody, anybody who's ever gone through my course, anybody I talk to that's worried about that editing process, one of the things that holds a lot of writers back is they're afraid to show their creative work to somebody because they don't want to be criticized. I don't think any of us really wants to be criticized. And so what's rattling around in our head sounds normal to us, but I tell everybody get two or three sets of eyeballs or more on your book because the things sometimes that make sense to us may not make sense to our reader. And oftentimes they can make suggestions that will just enhance the story that we're going for. So, yeah, well, it was edited very well. So you can thank your
Well,
editor for that.
thank you. And one thing to add to this as well. So I had a formal editor, and this last Christmas, I actually printed the book just at a FedEx Kinko's or something like that, and I gave it to my family members at Christmas, and they read it.
Oh,
And I'll tell you, my sister Brenda, who's also an editor, my sister Brenda, my brother Scott, my girlfriend now, my fiance Christy, Jeremy was another one who's in the book. Were very very helpful, and I think to your point. I think it's hard to put it out there, but the best thing I did was publish it at Christmas because the book changed, not like not quite a bit, but there were some changes that made it much much better, and it was thanks to the feedback of those that took the time to read it. So
yeah,
yeah, editing is it's a good,
yeah.
it's a necessary thing to go through.
And and then the book gets published, right? And you get that final print. I tell people make sure that you get your author's copy, go through, let people read it as if they're reading the final print and they're going to make some changes and then you go back to the drawing board and you re-edit and you tweak a few things and then you get that final print. What was that like for you when you got the final print in your hand?
I will tell you, probably the best way to describe it is it was like Christmas morning.
Yeah.
When you're a kid, right, and you come out and you see the
Mhm.
presents under the tree or whatever,
Yeah.
and you open those presents, there's just such a joy and a happiness. And I think that's what I would describe it as.
Mm.
I just was giddy, for lack of a better word, and just really passionate about it. For those that know me, anywhere I go, I have to share, my book, and people are generally intrigued by it. Like, what, you went to every stadium and got a hot dog?
Yeah.
And I kind of think that's cool. And
They like the story.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I enjoyed the story too. So, one more thing that I want to talk about because I don't hear people doing this too often. So, marketing can be a challenge for any author. And I tell everybody, don't think that you're going to write a book, stick it on Amazon, and the world's going to flock to it. You have to let people know that that book exists. And so, you did something unique to help you get this book out. You want to talk about that
Oh
Kickstarter
yeah,
that you did?
yeah. So did a Kickstarter. Robert and Bentley Cody were friends here at work who encouraged me to explore doing a Kickstarter. I had heard of them, but didn't really, have the full understanding. And so I researched that quite a bit. And essentially, for those that don't know what a Kickstarter is you have a campaign, and if you raise whatever your goal is, the funds, then uh, those that invest or those that fund the book are kind of make it happen, come to
Yeah.
be. And so um, we set a goal, we put it out there, and I think what we did more than anything, to your point, is it's not just, hey, I have a book, you should go read it, but we kind of created an experience. And so,
Hmm.
for those that aren't baseball fans and didn't really want to read it, I had something on the Kickstarter they could contribute $10 to buy the next hot dog because I'm not done with the quest as far as like, hey, I've been to Coors Field like 10
Yeah.
times and I've been to Nationals Field 4 or 5 times. I'll keep going back and having those different
Yeah.
experiences. So was able to create that. And then I had a friend, Brock, a really good friend who um, really great idea. But he encouraged me and we were joking, we were talking, and he's like, Jeff, you ought to create baseball cards. And so one of the things that I was able to do is create, and I don't have them on me, but I
I
think you've
have
got
some
them in
here. Do
front
you
of them.
mind
So
if
you
I
can
show them?
show them. So
Yeah, so I don't know if our audience can see that or not, but there are some baseball cards and you are eating hot dogs in some of them. Like this is one of my favorite. This was in San Francisco, California, and I love this one right here. That's Jeff eating a hot dog. And then just kind of a little blurb from the chapter, that it came from. And I think that that was just adorable. What a wonderful marketing
well,
idea. And
thank you.
also you created this the little bookmark
Yeah.
to go with it. And I thought all of it was just so adorable. I loved it.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And that's what we tried to do with the Kickstarter was rather than just selling the book, we were able to add these little bonus items and create more of an experience. So
Yeah.
obviously, I pitched it out to family and friends. I told them, it was important. I did a lot of social media things. I
Hmm.
put videos out there, asking for people's support, and then I created tiers. And so you could create rather than just buying the book. There were the baseball cards, there were the stickers, there were, signed copies of the book, multiple copies. And so I tried to reward the biggest supporters. And then even now, I'm still doing stuff on social media. I just was in Louisville, went to the Louisville Slugger Museum and got a little miniature
Uh,
souvenir Louisville Sluggers with Relish the Moment. And so again,
that's
it's
fantastic.
more than just a book. I'm trying to create an experience, and we were
Yes.
able to fund in 3 days, which was super exciting.
Oh,
And
wow.
very appreciative of all those family and friends, but those, that maybe was heard about it from a friend, and we were able to fund it, and then we were able to almost nearly double what our goal was. And so after the 30 days, then we were able to fulfill that, and now people are reading it, and the
That's
response has
awesome.
been pretty positive.
Yeah, yeah. And I love that you're taking people on that journey with you. What a beautiful experience, not just for yourself, but for everyone else. Well, Jeff, I'm going to do a little screen share here and we're going to show people where they can go to actually get your book. And of course, I'm going to leave the link in the description of this video so people can go
Sure.
click on it and they can experience it for themselves. But give me just one moment here and we are going to go we're going to go get that real quick. Give me 1 minute. Well, my screen share is not um it's not cooperating with me, but we're
I
gonna go look for it. Can you see that? I need to go get to the other tab. All
give you a
right.
shortcut too, if that's, I mean, it is
Sure.
on Amazon, but relishthebook.com. So relishthebook.com.
All right.
If you'd like a signed copy, sticker, some of the additional the baseball cards. If not Amazon, you can just search up Relish the Moment. You should be able to find
Okay.
it there as well.
All right. Fantastic. All right. So I will go ahead and make sure that we leave a link of that in the description too. And then that way other people can go ahead and uh, click on it. They can get their own copy. I highly recommend this as a fantastic read. It's easy. It's one of those things that you just sit down and you just, you get all these warm fuzzies and you're done in like an hour or two. It's not something that's going to take you months to get through. It's not a hard read at all, but it's a wonderful journey. And Jeff, you have been such a delight. I am so grateful that you agreed to be here today. Is there anything that you would like to say before we go that might encourage some new authors to get their books out there?
Yeah, really a couple thoughts, if I can, and thank you, Laura. Mutual feelings. It's been great working with you. I'm inspired by your work and your encouragement as well. So, the first thing I would say just about the book, it kind of itself, I say this in the intro, but this book helped me connect with the generations. My
Oh,
my grandmother was a baseball fan. my dad is whom I learned to love baseball from, and then it's been fun
Mm.
passing it on to my three kids, Everett, Ava, and Livy, and specifically Everett, who we had an opportunity to go to a game in New York, which kind of closes out the journey. But in the intro, I shared that my dad passed on his love of the game. And I remember even at an early age, from an early age, he taught me this. He taught me a couple things. One, baseball is the only sport where the defense has the ball, which is kind of interesting if you think about it. And secondly, the object of the game is to go home. And that's kind of what this journey came. That's what this journey became, excuse me. And it really was a great journey. As I shared, it is about baseball and it is about hot dogs, but it's much more than that. It's about discovering the wonder of being a kid and particularly going home. Um, uh, and I'll just let that metaphorically kind of sit there. So I'd share that as the first thought. The second thought is um, I think there are a lot of people that have a goal of publishing a book. And I think it is a really, really great goal. Um, but it's a daunting goal, right? And it can be overwhelming. And so I think the best advice that I received on any creative endeavor is just to start.
Just
As
do
I
it.
as
Yeah.
I stated, like I started here, and the first drafts that I gave to my editor, looking back, like they weren't great, but I needed to start somewhere
Somewhere.
because in order to become great, and
Yeah.
I say that, modestly, I hope that the readers would confirm the book as something that would fit into that category. But you just have to start, and it is a vulnerable
Yeah.
experience, but there's no better feeling than having your baby, your creation,
No
hit the
better feeling.
presses. And
Yeah.
so just
It is.
start,
Yeah.
and go with it. And, there's no two stories are the same. That's, I think, a beautiful thing
Mm.
too. Like
Yeah.
everybody's journey is unique, whether it's fiction, whether it's nonfiction, whether it's a memoir, it
Hmm.
doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
it's an original. And so don't forget that. Be
Yeah, and
you,
there's
be
no
great.
excuse in the world that we live in. There are no barriers to publishing. Anybody can publish a book. I that is my mantra. Anybody can write a
Yeah.
book. Anybody can
Yeah.
publish a book. And so, yeah, given the right tools, anybody can do it. Nobody's telling you that you can't. I want to make one more comment that
Sure.
really wanted to point out to you, Jeff, and that is that manuscript that you're holding on to. Make sure that you save that because in this day and age, people are not, they're not putting literal pen to paper anymore to write their original manuscripts. They're getting on the computer and doing it. And what you have right there is something that your children and your family can cherish for the rest of their lives. So even when you're gone, and even though, the final book is out for the world to buy, that manuscript is going to be worth something one of these days. So make sure that you save that as a forever treasure.
Well, thank you for your kind words, and I definitely will. And it's just the writing process has been
Mm.
a journey. The
Yeah.
experience of seeing a game in every stadium was a journey, and I would say just as compelling and emotional a ride has been the writing and the publishing
Yeah.
process, and
Yeah.
it's been great.
It is quite a process. Well, Jeff, I thank you so much for being here today. If you want to get a copy of Jeff Burton's book, Relish the Moment, I'm going to make sure that we leave a link in our Amazon or the Amazon link in our description of this video. So I want to thank you for being here. Everybody have a wonderful day and God bless.